Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to my stream. Shit, I gotta. Shit. Okay. Hold on. Just realized. Uh, um, um. So, how is everybody doing today? If you got the new here, which you probably are, to be honest, because I've never streamed on this channel before. I've only streamed on my gaming one. If you like gaming, be sure to subscribe to that. I am doing a what is it called? Minecraft Let's Play that is very wholesome, I guess. um, but yeah, welcome. This is my alternate channel thingy, and yeah, today we are going to be learning. Drum roll, please. Godot. So Godot is this thing here. Why? Because money. Because I'm broke. So, job searching is hard. Searching for a job is very, very hard. I've applied for so many jobs, but they all keep rejecting me. Right? I've only gotten one person contact me, sort of screen me. And yeah, it's very hard. So I decided, hey, you know what? I can become an indie dev for a bit, I'm going to be starting my own small company alongside my main job, alongside whatever job I have, because it's going to be good and fun. So yeah, today we are going to do just that. So we're going to be watching YouTube videos together. We're going to be learning about Godot. And really just, yeah. Let's see. Godot tutorial. So here's Godot tutorial. I think, which one was it that I was, oh shit, I don't know which one I was doing. Godot tutorial, let's do this one. So I might need my tablet. I don't know which one it was, but there was one that way we had like this thingy. Let's see. Godot tutorial. Let's go.
Godot. Godot.
Godot.
Godot. Whichever you prefer, if you want to use it to make a game, you've come to the right place. I've been making video games for more than 14 years now, and recently
I think this is the right one.
With Godot. Godot is a great choice for many developers and pretty beginner.
Okay, it is the right one. This is the right one. Okay.
It's open source and completely free.
1 hour and 17 minutes. We got this.
Have a bunch of ideas of games that would be cool to make. But no matter if you're dreaming of making an FPS, a 2D platformer, or anything in between using Godot, the first step is of course to install it. Now this process might be a bit tedious, but bear with me now. We go to godotengine.org, press download latest, Godot engine, and we're done. This is a huge advantage of Godot. It's extremely lightweight and can even run in the browser. Now you might want to unzip this folder and place it somewhere you remember. But other than that, we're ready to open up Godot. So let's double click it, and it's going to ask us if we want to look at some example projects. I'll just press cancel. Then we can press new, name our project, say first game. I'm going to place mine on my desktop under my games folder. Let's create a separate folder for first game, so hit create folder and create an edit. And here we are, a clean slate, a blank canvas. Oh, I am so ready to make this game about. Well, this might be a good time to decide what our game will be about. So, in the spirit of learning the basics of the engine.
By the way, if anybody wondering, we are gonna be sticking hard to this tutorial, bro. Wait, hold on. I have never ever made a game before. Like, well, except for using Java to make a game, which is like for an assignment, but that's it. Game engines, never used them before. First time, I'm new. How you doing? So it will be quite an interesting journey.
And giving you an
So we're gonna stick very hard to this tutorial.
I've put together the most basic game I could imagine. Think of it like food without salt. It doesn't have much flavor, but it does have a player, enemies, moving platforms, collectible coins, and most importantly, it should get you familiar with the engine in no time. Also, we'll be working in 2D, but another really cool thing about Godot is that it's very easy to transfer 2D concepts to 3D. So don't worry, if your dream game is in 3D, most of what you learn here is going to directly apply. As for programming, Godot uses its own scripting language called GDScript. It's pretty fast and easy to use, but still quite powerful. We'll do a bit of programming in this video to get you started, but the main focus is really to get familiar with Godot as a whole and to quickly get a game up and running. Because of this, I don't expect you to fully understand all the code you see. Feel free to write after me or just lean back and observe. Our next video will be about learning to program in GDScript. Alright, I promised you food without salt, so
Oh shoot, there's 2
let's
videos.
get
That's not
cooking.
good. That's the other video. Oh no, okay, so we gotta get the assets. So do I have a file that I downloaded already? No, I don't think I got a file. Let me check my downloads folder. Probably don't have it. Okay. Godot tutorial. 101. Godot tutorial. So, yep. So we can get the assets first. We'll just have the assets downloaded first before the thing. I'm sorry, my friend, but I am broke. Well, I'm not like broke, but I don't know. And then, okay, so we got the download thing. And then we just, there we go. Key, zip, extract here. All right.
Now to make our delicious game, we need ingredients. We need things like sprites, models, textures, and sounds. These are called assets, and a game engine like Godot is not so much made for creating these from scratch, but more for putting everything together. It's really the stirring pot of making a game. Now, since I can't expect you to go shopping for assets at your local supermarket, I've used a bit of TV magic to prepare some beforehand. You can download them for free using the link below. I've bundled together sprites from the amazing Analog Studios and modified them a bit along with a pixel font, some custom sounds, and a cute little music track. It's also perfectly fine to use other assets you find on the internet. There are many great resources for free assets, just make sure you check the license and give proper credit to the author. CC0 means that the asset is completely free to use and there's no requirement to credit. That being said, making your own assets is one of the places where you can really get creative, and I highly recommend you try it out as soon as you feel comfortable. Remember, you can always use these assets as placeholders and then modify or replace them later. Alright, let's get our assets into Godot. Importing assets in Godot is extremely simple. The file system window is where we have all the files we use in our game. By default, the only thing in here is the Godot icon. So let's create a folder where we can put our assets. Let's right-click, new folder, and name it assets. Let's also make one for scripts.
All right, let me check. Do we have that already? Damn, no, we don't. Okay, so. No, you know what? I'm gonna close this. Oh shit. Quit. We're gonna restart from the very start. Because I don't want to mess anything up. So this is removed. Goodbye. Remove. New. We're gonna call this first game as well. Can't select the project and select the path. Or what do I? Recent Godot. This game. Huh? Documents Godot. Okay, so I can delete this. So it can be deleted. Can do it, cannot be undone. Depending on the file, they can. Okay, hold on. What? What do you mean? Oh. Hold on. So getting me the first game. There. And then if we do this, it should be gone. We can select the current folder. This will be called first game. Project path Godot. First game. What if we do? You go in a non-empty folder. Import it as a project resources. No. Okay. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna create the folder. I'm gonna call it first game. First game. So select the current folder. This is good. Project name is first game. So we can create and edit. Okay. Now the game thing is starting. We have all of these things. So we need to
and scenes that we can use later. Now we
Alright, so assets, scenes, and scripts. So assets, scenes, scripts. Alright.
can simply drag and drop our assets into the asset folder. So I'll select the assets folder, open up my assets here. I'm going to select all the subfolders.
Okay. So assets.
And click and drag them into Godot.
Okay. So we gotta go here, gotta go there. Bring in all the assets. It'll move it. Ah! It crashed! It crashed, bro! Oh gosh, that's not good. That's not good. I need to, in case there's something, I need to remove these. Okay, something broke. Okay, so I need to, let me just open the file manager. Okay, let's just in case, because I don't want anything to okay, so here we go. So we're gonna copy, we're gonna paste. Okay, now everything should be done. Everything has been imported. I don't know why that crashed. That was not a good thing. But at least it doesn't take like forever to load back up. Unlike Unity. We'll give it 3D for now. Let's see.
Voila! we can now see and use all of our assets in Godot.
Mm-hmm,
So now
mm-hmm.
we're ready to make our game. So let's talk about how we do that. To make anything in Godot, we use nodes. If we want to make a player character, we do so by putting together a bunch of nodes. If we want to make an enemy, we do so by putting together nodes. If we want to make a main menu, you guessed it, we use nodes. So nodes are the fundamental building blocks of your game. And nodes come in many types. Some display an image, others play a sound, or add physics. And we can even extend existing nodes to build more powerful ones. So in its essence, making a game in Godot is combining and extending nodes to get the result we're looking for. It's a super creative and fun process. But building everything in one big world with nodes for the player, enemies, UI, and a bunch of levels all in one place would quickly become completely unmanageable and confusing. Instead, we use scenes. Scenes allow us to bundle together nodes into reusable packages. A scene can be a character, a weapon, a menu. They can be as small as a single collectible coin or an entire level. Scenes make it really easy to focus on building one part of our game at a time, and then slowly combining them to make our game larger and larger. This is because we can put scenes inside of other scenes, which is called nesting, and allows us to take, say, a player scene, a platform scene, and a collectible coin scene, and put them all inside of another scene, say a level 1 scene. And even cooler, since scenes are reusable, we can make a scene only once and then use it all over our game. We can make many levels that all use the same collectible coin scene. And if we want to change something about our coin, we simply edit the scene and it automatically updates everywhere else. As you can see, all the nodes and scenes in our game start to resemble a tree-like structure. And that's exactly what we call it, the scene tree. And fittingly, we call the node at the very beginning of the tree the root. So now that we know a bit about how Godot works, let's start by making the most essential part of our game, the player character. Player 1.0. So let's create a scene where we'll put everything together. This is going to be a 2D game, so I'll select 2D scene. And let's rename this from Node 2D to Game. And even though it's empty, let's go ahead and save it. So hit
Alright, 2D scene. No 2D. You're now game! Control S. Where do I save this? This should be fun. Yep. Fine.
Control S, go under Scenes, and
Oh shit. I did it wrong. Oh shit, I did it wrong. Okay. Okay, game still needs to be on the scenes. Okay. Alright, now it's good. Okay.
save it here. And now we can actually play our game. It's not going to be very exciting, but let's try it out. So let's hit play up here or simply press F5. It's going to tell us that we haven't selected a main scene. We need to tell Godot which scene to run. I'm just going to press select current.
This is our game, guys. Look. Woo! Well, it's starting there. It's getting there. It's getting there. Anyways, close this now.
And you can see that our game scene becomes blue to let us know that this is now our main scene. And as you can see, not much is happening here. So let's stop playing by hitting the stop icon here or pressing F8. And let's put in a player to make it more exciting.
Actually, did I do that? Is it stopped properly or yeah, it stopped properly. Why do I have a debugger that is saying we got an error? Let's clear that. Clear, okay. Alright, I don't know what was happening before, but it's all good now.
So, first off, let's create a new scene by hitting the plus sign up here. This will be our player scene. And the root node for our player is going to be what is called a character body 2D. So let's add a new node by pressing the plus here or hitting Control A. And let's search for character body 2D.
Okay. So what did I name it? It's still empty, so it's character body 2D. Okay.
As you can see, this is a 2D physics body that is specialized for characters moved by script. So it's perfect for a player character that we want to be able to collide with the environment. So let's hit create. And now we can see our node here, but we can't actually see our player in the scene. So let's add some graphics. Let's add another node. I'm going to hit Control A, and let's search for sprite. And as you can see, we can choose a single sprite, or in our case, we want to create an animated character. So let's choose the animated sprite 2D. Sprites are just what we call images in our 2D world. Now, with
added child node will add a sprite, animated sprite. Create, there we go.
this node selected, we can use the inspector here on the right to change properties on that node. If we select a different node, say our character body 2D, we can now see the properties on that node instead. So our inspector allows us to change things about a node. In our animated sprite 2D, we want to add some animations, and we want to give it some sprite frames, the individual frames that will make up our animation. So let's click here and add a new sprite frames. And now with this selected, we can see that it will open up the sprite frame.
Oh no!
We need
Where are we?
frames that will image. This is called a
Oh shit.
different sprite, and our knight. Click that. See that it will open.
Okay, so yes. Oh shit. I don't know where it is. No, that's not good. What did I? Oh, what did I do? What did this guy do? So,
And add sprite frames.
There we go. So now, okay. All right.
Individual frames that will make up our animation. So let's click here and add a new sprite frames.
Mm-hmm.
And now with this selected, we can see that it will open up the sprite frames window at the bottom. And in this window, we're going to press this tiny icon here that lets us add frames from a sprite sheet. So let's click that, go into our assets under our sprites. Let's find our knight.png.
Okay. Knight.png.
And as you can see, I've gone ahead and packed all the different sprite frames of the knight's animation into a single image. This is called a sprite sheet. It's a very efficient way of working with lots of sprites, such as when doing animation. Otherwise, we would have to create an image for each single frame, which would quickly become an unmanageable amount of files. Now to start adding these frames in, we first need to configure the grid here. Currently it's set to 4x4. Let's go ahead and increase this. I've created an 8x8 grid here. And as
8x8. Okay. And
you can see, each frame now has its own grid cell. And let's just start by adding the idle animation. To do this, we simply click the frames in the order that we would like. So I'm going to go from the left-hand side here and click. As you can see, it says this to 0, the first frame. Then I'm going to click the next one and the next one and the next one. And now it goes from 0 to 3 and we'll play from left to right. We can always click again to remove. And this is how you can quickly build an animation from different parts of your sprite sheet. So I'll select these 4 frames and hit Add Frames.
oh my gosh, there's a little guy. Oh my gosh, there's a little guy.
Now let's hit F to center our character on the screen. And I'm going to use the scroll wheel to zoom in. We can also click and drag with the middle mouse button to pan. Now our character looks weirdly blurry. That's because we're working with pixel art, which requires really hard edges. by default, Godot is going to try to do some texture smoothing to make textures look better, but applied to pixel art, that is definitely not the case. So let's simply disable this. So let's go to Project, Project Settings. Let's go under Rendering to Textures.
Mm.
And here on the default texture filter, let's change this from linear to nearest.
He's so clean. He's so clean.
Which will immediately make our pixel art look crisp. Then we can select our animated sprite. And let's try playing the animation. That looks great. I'm going to increase the
Mm-hmm. He looks clean. All right. I'm liking this.
FPS here to 10 to make it go a bit faster. I'm also going to rename the animation here to idle.
Oh, okay. So idle. That. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to enable autoplay to make sure it plays right when we start the game. And finally, I'm going to take the sprite here and move it up to make it kind of stand on this line.
What line is that? I can't see. Oh, it's the red line. Okay, okay. Okay. There we go. Oh shoot, wait, no. There we go. So now, press play. Ah, no, still. But if we do this, okay, yeah, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
And that's it for our graphics for now. We'll add more animations later. But as you can see, we're currently getting this warning here in the scene view. And if I hover over it, it's going to say that this node has no shape, so it can't collide or interact with other objects. And this is because a character body 2D is a physics node. And whenever we're working with physics, we need to define a shape that the physics engine can work with. So let's add a new node. I'm going to press the plus sign here. I'm going to search for collision shape 2D, hit create, and here in the inspector, we can now define a new shape. I'm going to add a circle shape. I'm going to make this a bit smaller and drag it up. Somewhere around there looks fine. Now you're probably thinking, well, this is pretty far from our actual graphics, but that's totally fine. Colliders rarely need to be very precise, and it's a good rule of thumb to make them a bit smaller than the graphics if you need to.
Mm-hmm. So shape, circle 2D. You zoom in, we can reduce it by that much. Around there should be fine. I think, yeah. Maybe a bit further, actually. There we go. There we go. He's a happy guy. He's a very happy guy now. Now I got the collision on.
Having colliders that are too large is simply going to be frustrating when playing. So let's now rename the top node here to player. And let's save the scene, Control S, as player, hit save. And now we can go into our game scene and simply drag our player in here. So I'm going to go to the top here and drag in the player. We also need to create a camera so that
Okay.
we can control what is currently being shown. So let's add a new node, hit Control A, search for camera 2D, hit create. And now if we press F, we can see that we have this huge camera viewport. This is definitely currently too large, so let's zoom in on our camera. I'm going to set the zoom here to 4x4 and simply click and drag our camera to be on top of. The player. And now we can try playing our game. And there you go. We now have a player that is playing an idle animation.
This is awesome. This is awesome. This is very awesome indeed.
And nothing else is happening. That's because we need to add a script that allows us to move around. So let's close our game, go into our player scene, and with our player node selected, let's press this Add Script button. Here we can choose a template. Of course, we're going to do some programming in this video, but writing player movement can quickly become a bit overwhelming. So for now, we'll use the basic movement template. Provided by Godot. Then later, we'll go in and modify it to play different animations and rebind input to the keys we'd like to use. As for the path here, I'm going to make sure that we put this inside of our scripts folder. And let's just name it player. Let's hit create. And as you can see, this creates a script that will move around our character. I know that this might look really confusing at first, but don't worry, we'll have a look at what all this means later. For now, let's just try playing. And our player immediately falls off the screen. That's because we need to give him a collider to stand on. Right now, our player has a collider, but it doesn't have anything to collide with. So in our game, I'm going to go back to the 2D view at the top here. This is where we can change from script view to 2D. Let's add a new node. So let's hit the plus sign. Let's add a static body 2D. And this is another type of physics body. It's the one we use for things that don't need to move. That's why it's called static. So it's perfect for creating some ground. Let's hit create. And again, this is going to give us
How do I get out of here? How do I close this? Where's the close button on this? Oh gosh.
This warning here, rating we use Nick. Our player has a collider, but it doesn't have anything to collide with. So in our game, I'm going to go back
Oh, okay.
to the 2D view at the top here. This is where we can change from script view to 2D. Let's add a new node. So let's hit the plus sign. Let's add a static body 2D. And this is another type of physics body. It's the one we use for things that don't need to move. That's why it's called static. So it's perfect for creating some ground. Let's hit create. And again, this is going to give us this warning here that it needs a shape. So let's add a collision shape. So I'm going to hit Control A, search for collision shape. And for the shape here, we're going to create a new world boundary. Shape. The world boundary is a type of collider that is perfect for stuff like, well, world boundaries, because it's going to extend infinitely on the horizontal axis here. So as you can see, it's currently pointing up. We could also point it to the side here, and now it's going to extend infinitely on the vertical. I'm going to hit Control Z to undo that. Instead, I'm going to select the entire static body here. I'm going to change to the Move tool by pressing this icon here or simply W on the keyboard. And I'm going to move it down under our character. Then I'm going to go back to our select tool, which is here, or simply press Q. And while our collider doesn't have any graphics, it's going to be invisible, we can now play. And there we go. Our player now gently lands on the collider, and we can move around using the arrow.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Keys and jump with the spacebar. Now our player is currently a bit too fast and I think his jump is a bit too high, so let's modify our script to change that. Let's close our game, go into our script, and at the top here there are two constants that we can modify, our speed as well as our jump velocity. So I'm going to set the speed to something less like 130 and the jump velocity to say -300. And now when we play, it looks and feels a lot better. So our player is moving around, but currently there's not much to look at. So let's build a world to explore. World building 1.0. So to build our world, let's begin by removing our collider here. We're going to build an actual ground for him to stand on. And let's instead add a tilemap node. So let's press new node and search for tilemap. Now, the most common common way to create levels in 2D is by using tiles. In other words, we build our game world by drawing different tiles onto a grid. This is a great way to work because we can create a lot of varied levels using just a few tiles. The tile assets we use to paint are normally packed together into one big image, just like our player was. This is called the tile set. So the tile set is a collection of tiles that we can use to paint from, and the tile map that we just created is the node we use to paint these tiles into our world. So to start painting on our tile map, we need to add a tile set. So in our inspector under tile set, we'll create a new tile set, and if we press it here, we get to configure some things about it. The main thing you want to make sure is set correctly is the tile size. The tile set in our asset does indeed have 16 by 16 pixel tiles, so we'll just leave that as is. Now at the bottom here you can see that we have two tabs. We have the tile set and tile map. So before we can start painting with our tile map, let's go into our tile set and configure this property. The main thing we want to do is drag in our tile set asset. So let's go into our assets folder under sprites and drag in the world tileset.png. It's going to ask us if we would like to automatically create tiles in the atlas. We do, so let's press yes. And now let's make some more room here, and we can zoom in to view it. And as you can see, it's actually gone ahead and automatically detected the grid cells that have tiles. If for some reason it's made an error, we can always use our eraser here to remove tiles. In this case here, it thinks that the top of the palm tree is a bunch of different tiles. I'm going to use the eraser to get rid of these, and instead go out of the erase mode, and then hold down Shift while clicking and dragging to turn this into one big tile.
Mm-hmm. Oh gosh, I did something wrong, guys.
It's also eraser to get rid of these, and instead go out of the erase mode, and then hold down Shift while clicking and
Okay. All right, there we go. Oh, I almost messed that up. But it's all good. It's all good.
dragging to turn this into one big tile. It's also split up the trees into 3 different tiles, but in this case it's actually something that we want because it allows us to create trees of varying heights. I'll show you this once we start painting. Other than that, I think it looks good. So with this tile set up, we can now go to our tile map and start painting. Make sure that the scene has the select tool and that the tile map has the paint tool enabled. And now let's simply select a tile and start painting it in. If you make a mistake, you can always right click to remove. So I'm just going to fast
Look, guys, this is so awesome. Man, this is amazing. I love this, bro. I love this. This is fun. This is good. This is very, very, very nice. So anyways, guys, we're gonna make our own Terraria. Because this is pretty cool. Look at that. Look at that. Look at, oh god, never mind.
Forward through me drawing out the level here. As you can see, I begin by blocking out the most essential game parts, leaving in room for gameplay objects like moving platforms and enemies. And then only once I'm finished with that, I start decorating. And if the trick here is that you can select multiple tiles at once to paint in more than one, and you can always go into select mode in order to select large chunks and move them. Now once I'm ready to start decorating, let me just show you the cool trick with the trees here. So let's say we want to add a tree here at the top. Well, then we can actually just paint the bottom, then choose how tall we want the tree to be, and then paint the top. So that's one of the advantages of working with tiles, is that we can also make individual elements really, really flexible. So once you're happy with the level, let's just go ahead and press play, and our player is going to fall right off. That's because we need to add a physics layer to our tiles. To do this, we go to our tile map, go under our tile set, physics layers, and add a new layer. Then with this layer, we can go under our tile set, and here we need to choose what tiles belong to the physics layer. Because our physics layers. To do this, we go to our tile map, go under our tile set, physics layers, and add a new layer. Then with this layer, we can go under our tile set, and here we need to choose what tiles belong to the physics layer, because we don't want to collide with everything in our tile map. The trees and bushes, we just want to pass right through. So let's go to paint here, and the property that we want to paint is the physics layer 0 we just created. And now we can actually go ahead and paint onto our tiles these
We're gonna fall off the bridges. That's all we'll need. And this one as well. Okay. No. Yep.
physics settings. So I'm simply going to paint this onto all the different solid tiles. And if you make a mistake and want to remove a tile, we go here, select clear, and now we can paint with no fizz.
Mm.
Or we can go back to the default tile shape, which
Okay.
is the entire tile, and paint with that, or simply hit F to do that. So C and F are the shortcuts here. Now, there are also some tiles that we do want physics on, but where we need the collider to only be on part of the tile, such as our bridge here. So if I zoom in on our bridge, we can see that if I just paint physics onto these, it doesn't look right. Instead, we need to go in and only paint a partial collider. So over here on the left, we can actually modify these colliders to exactly suit our needs. We can even add and remove points by clicking and right-clicking. But in this case, 4 points will do just fine, and that's a good shape for a collider. Then we can paint these onto the 3 different tiles.
Oh gosh, this is gonna be annoying. Alright, there we go. There we go.
And then for the next one here, we can configure it. This slants up a bit. I'm going to paint that on as well. And then for the final one here, let's go ahead and make that go in the opposite direction. And here you actually want to be pretty precise whenever you have an overlap of the colliders here. I think that looks pretty good. This helps avoid that our character gets stuck.
Oh gosh, we gotta do that, Azua. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Bruh. Ay, okay. Alright, we gotta go through all of these. Flip horizontally. Let's check you out there. Nope. About now. Give you a little bit lower. A little bit higher. Little bit lower. Okay, that's good. Okay. Looks bad, I know, guys. I know it looks bad. Oh, wait. Oops, I don't know. There we go. Looks good enough. Yeah, looks good enough. Anyways. See, no, I want it a tiny bit higher. Shouldn't hurt there, right? Okay. Okay, that's a lot better. All right.
I'm also going to take the tile map and drag it to the very top so that we can always find it. And now when we play, we are indeed colliding with our environment. Awesome. Now we probably want our camera to follow the player because he's currently just running off the screen. So I'm going to make some room here. I'm going to take the camera 2D and simply drag it under the player. Making it a child of the player means that it will just automatically follow the player node.
Woo! Look at that, guys. How do you guys like my bridge? Look at that. This is awesome. This is awesome. I like this.
I'm also going to make sure that the camera is still positioned right on top of the player, and we can even turn on position smoothing to really smooth out our camera follow. So
Oh, this is the fancy stuff. Oh, this is awesome, bro.
I'm going to enable position smoothing on the camera with a default speed of 5 pixels. And now when we play, as you can see, our camera smoothly follows our player. Awesome. So now we have a first draft of our game world, but so far everything is stuck to the grid. Let's start adding some dynamic and moving elements, such as platforms. Platforms, some that move and some that don't. So whenever we are creating a new element of our game, we begin by making a new scene. And for the root node here, I'm going to hit add and search for the animatable body 2D.
All right. All right. All right. It's been 23 minutes, but it's been an hour in stream time. That's how I expected it to go. I'm going to cut it off here, guys. I'm going to eat some tuna. I love my tuna. And yeah. Also, heads up. For those of you who love Ren'Py, we're going to be covering Ren'Py too. We're going to be doing some Ren'Py thingies. And I'm going to get enough money to hire an artist. So yeah, we're going to stop this one here. I'm going to... Oh my gosh, I'm so sleepy. Good old tutorial. I'm going to go here. What is this? Tutorial video. So let me go. Time is 23:42. Okay. Go. All right. So that is that. And yeah, we are gonna have so much fun with this, guys, because now I have so much free time. You know, I hope that the games that I develop, you guys will love, because I love to make stories and I love to make this sort of stuff. It's just very cool, you know. I'm gonna make something like Stardew Valley, guys. Stardew Valley is really fun. I'm gonna make an Abigail. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and don't let the code bugs bite.